Hey YouTube, welcome to the channel. I'm one Vexy guy, and today we'll be going over a build that I've been having a ton of fun with ever since the first Iron Banner of Season of the Lost. Okay, so as I'm sure you can tell from the title, today we're going to be doing a build that focuses on Jotunn in conjunction with Bottom Tree Dawnblade for those nice, juicy PvP explosions. Um, let's get the elephant out of the room here and just talk about, yes, we're using Jotun. I know that there are some people that hate on this weapon and some people that say that even though they hate on it, that it's just not good in high-end PvP content. I'm gonna say I'm in the camp that if there's a weapon or a skill in the game, looking at you, Shadow Dive, then you can use it in any content that you would like. So, we're going to be using this weapon here. I do find that there are some tips, a little bit of tricks that I'll tell you guys, three of them in particular near the end of the video, or the end of the build aspect of the video, that maybe can help you use it a bit better, because I personally find when I use Jotun, it is kind of a crapshoot. Sometimes you shoot it and you get the kill that you're looking for. Sometimes you shoot it and you're like, I didn't even know that person was there, and I got them. And other times you shoot it at somebody that you think you should have got because they're like, 5 feet in front of you, not even moving, and it just misses, right? So it just depends on what's going on with there. So essentially, let me just tell you the synergies of the build. So that Jotun essentially, in case you don't know, it's a toaster. You charge it up, you shoot this fireball out, and it tracks people. It burns on impact. That's the key vocabulary there, because with Bottom Tree Dawnblade, with in particular Igniting Touch. So this states you strike a combatant with this melee ability to burn them. However, defeating burning combatants causes them to explode. So Jotun, it burns on impact, it causes that explosion, which is great. Um, the Faded for the Flame and the Everlasting Fire are basically the super, perks. Essentially, kills with Daybreak extend its durations. Every time you get a kill to super, you get a longer super. And they seek targets, so it is actively seeking. So I guess it kind of is like a second Jotun. And when they do kill an enemy guardian, they create some of these flames that shoot out. They can sometimes net you some extra kills. The other thing that's really unique about this subclass here is Phoenix Dive. So essentially what this does is that it says activate while midair to quickly descend and restore your health. It gives you a little bit extra perks when Daybreak is active. That's the super. You can descend and do explosive damage. And it returns super energy, which is interesting. But the big thing about this now is that before you used to just jump up and you go straight down and you'd gain a portion of life back. Now you have some directional control similar to Shadow Dive. So I've actually been finding that when I'm out of Jotun shots with this build and I'm using in my case, the 140 hand cannon I like to use. If I'm shooting and I'm a couple milliseconds behind on my shot, what happens is I can jump up, quickly dive back to cover, get my life back. Then when I repeak, now I have the upper hand in that duel. So this is actually a really interesting, not only maneuverability tool because it is kind of slow, but it does help you gain some life back, which can get you back in the fight even faster. So that's how the two of them work. As I said, you can really use whatever. This build is very customizable. You can pretty much use whatever primary you want. I find personally using a 140 is my favorite. But if you wanted to go up close, you could use a multi-mock. If you wanted to go use a pulse, you could use whatever you want here. And essentially, that is how the armor is set up. So whatever armor pieces you want to use, you just set up the mods to accompany your primary weapons of using a pulse mods, using a hand cannon mods. The only thing you really need is that you have to have fusion rifle scavenger on, so you get those more Jotun shots when you pick up the green ammo. I always recommend having bomber on because I love the warlock grenades, and bomber gives you grenade energy back every time you use your class ability. And the only thing I'd really shoot for is that for stat wise is that you have to have tier 10 recovery to get back in the fight faster, and also to get your rift back faster. And then you can split the rest of them up between discipline and intellect. I think that intellect gets, diminishing returns quite heavily after like 70, tier 7 or tier 8. And so what I found works best for me is to go 10, 7, 9 instead of 10, 6, 10 or something of that nature. And then you can just fill in the rest of the stats or dump stats as you can want. For an exotic armor piece, I personally like to use Ophidian Aspect just because I find that it is great for ADS speed, especially when using hand cannons. It's great for reload and it's great for swapping weapons fast. You can use really whatever exotic you want. You can even double down on the build and use Dawn Chorus up on top, which increases burning damage, causes extra burning damage, and um, gives you extra damage against targets that are burning. Essentially, that could come in handy if you kill somebody with Jotun. The explosion gets somebody else that's burning, and then you want to finish them off with your primary weapon. Could use very well that way. I will just quickly go over here that I am using Healing Rift. You can use Empowering if you want. Always Burst Glide because it gives you the most momentum. But if you, I mean, honestly, if you, whatever glide you want to use, right? And whatever grenade you want to use. I am sure that there are ways that we could, especially for using Dawn Chorus, use like the Solar Grenade to cause extra burn damage and get extra explosions. But for this case, honestly, I found that Jotun seems to be, this build here, instead of going all in just on explosions, seems to have the most consistency with it. So a few things I just wanted to go over real quickly. Two with Jotun, one with the subclass. Just a couple little tips that I found work for me is that with Jotun, pre-charging is huge. The charge time on Jotun is pretty big and the projectile velocity is pretty slow. So if you know that someone's around the corner or you think someone's around the corner, you start pre-charging before you peek the corner. So that way when you peek the corner, your shot is automatically coming out like a split second later. I find that that really helps to catch the person off guard and gets hits more often. The next thing is that well, a couple things. Don't have to ADS. If you ADS, you're just limiting your field of vision. The tracking still stays the same, so I always hit fire it. But the other big thing is to lead your shots. So you always want to put the shot where you think the opponent is going. Uh, Case in point is if I'm on the receiving end of a Jotun and I'm strafing right and I see a Jotun come at me, if I continue right, I may miss, the shot may miss me. There's a chance that it may miss me. If I jump and proceed right, it's more than likely going to miss me. If I jump and go left, it's a higher chance that's going to miss me than ever. So two of those options were me continuing going right, and as you're facing most people, especially the first couple of times you use Jotun on them, they're not really expecting it to come at them. So instead of having that small chance or that higher chance if they jump, if you lead and kind of aim closer to their head and a little bit over to leading where they're going to, then the shot will more than likely hit, unless of course they jump and go left, which is just almost a for sure not going to hit. And the last thing is with the subclass overall. With Phoenix Dive, you don't have to jump up, double jump up. You can literally just, as long as your feet are above the ground and then you hold, in my case, R3, whatever the long press is for you, you will get that health back because you'll do the animation. So that really cuts down on some valuable seconds instead of having to jump up high and then jump down low to get your health back. So any other questions you guys have, just leave them down in the comments below. I am trying to be quick right here, so I will be putting up just some clips of the Jotun and work. But if you guys would like have some full gameplay, just let me know. Just see what works better. Right? All right. Thanks. Have a good one.